Alright, let's talk about Anonymous.
Whatever.
Now, Anonymous is a group that's characterized by a frightening internet presence sort of encased in a Guy Fawkes mask. It looks like this! And the group is incredibly hard to track down because Anonymous cloaks itself in a shroud of mystery. By that virtue, there's no way to know what being a member of Anonymous looks like from an outside perspective. In fact, Anonymous is an entity that can entirely be categorized in a routine of behavior similar to a hive mind, also known as a collective consciousness. So the hive mind is a set of beliefs and attitudes that a group shares. It's also a type of shared awareness, defined by Clay Shirky. It's the ability of many different people and groups to understand a situation and to understand who else has the same understanding. You following me? Shared awareness allows otherwise uncoordinated groups to begin to work together more effectively and efficiently. Yeah! Now you can't be annoyed that my bed's not made. Look at it!
Whatever.
Anonymous was more or less spawned from the barren wastelands of the internet. I'm talking the worst place. Some people call it the asshole of the internet. An image board known as 4chan. It is a dive. Well, only a couple of boards, but you get the point. Anonymous wasn't the organization it is today, and their operations were low scale and not exactly as pure as they are now, if you could really use the word pure. You may recognize some of Anonymous's older antics from gems such as "You done goofed."
Guess what? Your emails will be caught and will be bound, and who said you're going to beat my daughter up? You will have to deal with the police, because you done goofed.
But as they matured, they began doing different things. They began highlighting WikiLeaks info. They began attacking the Church of Scientology, not attacking it as a religion, but as a business. They began protesting Iranian elections in 2009 because of corrupt politicians. We started to see a trend towards more social justice as opposed to things done for the lulz. This list isn't exhaustive by any measure, but in 2011, a member of Anonymous published a video under a Creative Commons license titled "I Am One Anonymous."
Hello Internet, I am One Anonymous. I decided to make a video voicing my support for Anonymous. At first I did not know what Anonymous was, what it believes, what Anonymous is doing, and more importantly, what it can accomplish. My curiosity of the internet superconsciousness known as Anonymous has led me to commit research.
The introduction to this video actually sort of sets the stage for Anonymous's political views.
Injustice. We fight corrupt corporations and protest governments who bastardize freedom. We oppose censorship. We have no country, no leaders. We lack organization and go where we are needed. We are your friends. We are your family. We can be anyone and we can be nobody. We are you.
Now this member of Anonymous actually talks about the ideologies of Anonymous, saying that you cannot stop the flow of the internet, knowledge is free, and free speech is non-negotiable. Also discussed is the infancy of Anonymous. This member says that they used to be malicious hackers who stole identities, they cyber-attacked credit card companies, they did other things like helping a cat, they actually stopped a pedophile. But this apparently all became trivial when they moved into more of the human rights space.
All of this has become trivial. Current events happening throughout the world have shown the outstanding effect that Anonymous can have. We have answered the plights of those who want nothing more than to be heard. We stand with the honest few who fight the corrupt many. Anonymous has matured, and its maturity embodies the human public.
So the things Anonymous are doing now are far more important and far more in a social justice context than they were in the past. Because in the past they weren't really, you get it. So now they've adopted somewhat of a Robin Hood complex. They speak for the voiceless. They take voice and they take power from the government and they seek to put that in people's hands. Power to the people! That was a doozy. Segue into politics.
Whatever.
Anonymous is completely anti-censorship if you haven't already figured it out. Through one of their more famous operations titled Operation Payback, they sought to execute distributed denial-of-service attacks on entities that attacked WikiLeaks at the peak of its popularity. In case you don't know what a DDoS attack is, it's one of the most annoying things that could probably ever happen to any website's traffic ever. A DDoS attack pretty much stops traffic to your website. Let me make that a metaphor. It's like the equivalent of putting a frickin' Snorlax in front of a website and then saying, hey, you don't have the flute that you need. You get what I'm saying. You get the reference, okay? You get it. And for those of you that don't like Pokemon, it's like some Indiana Jones reference. Big boulder is in the way. I don't know. He gets chased by it. I don't care. The point is, something is blocking, and, it's DDoS. Distributed Denial of Service Attacks. That's how it works. Anonymous is completely anti-regime. They seek to bring down anybody who's oppressive. They seek to bring down trickster CEOs, anyone that looks to bastardize human rights, freedom of speech, or anyone that looks to corrupt or hide the truth. Which is pretty cool because it's like we have a silent hero, a watchful protector, a dark knight, many dark knights there are, if you want to look at it from that scope. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Jim Brad, hey, I wonder, how does the government deal with all this crap? Anonymous is a group that's everywhere and nowhere at the same time, right? They're not reducible to a single identity, and in accordance with the First Amendment, with freedom of assembly, you can't be brought to justice by being a member of Anonymous, so that's not illegal. A lot of what we see is legislation to strictly regulate what can be done on the internet. We're talking proposals for bills like CISPA, its predecessor SOPA, SOPA's sibling PIPA, PIPA's father COICA, and then any member of the holy frickin' crap, look at us, we're so cool, we can make a frickin' sweet anagram from our law family. And those laws wouldn't exactly condemn people for being anonymous, they would condemn the behavior that Anonymous typically takes part in. And that a lot of it is information sharing and freedom of information and sort of this give the power back to the people mentality. And the government seeks to control that because that's sort of a wild way of thinking. And again, they're composed mostly of libertarians and anarchists. And of course, obviously, libertarians and anarchists are evil. Not really, they just exist in a system that, it's a different system. Opinion over.
Whatever.
In addition to the First Amendment stuff, the Human Rights Council, a part of the UN, actually passed a resolution on July 6, 2012, which would protect human rights in a digital context. So what has been established as universal human rights now apply to the internet. Free game! Now the big question is, where is the line drawn between malicious intent and forms of protest? And that's what a lot of the DDoS stuff stems from.
Whatever.
Anonymous is famous for taking down websites in waves. We're talking crap loads of websites. Metric butt tons. Okay, not that much, but seriously, they do a pretty good job of denying service to websites. The tool of choice is called Low Orbit Ion Cannon. And it's a program that, while initially created for network testing, has become a tool to deny access to public websites. How does it work? Well, it submits multiple HTTP requests to a server, and when done in mass, it can completely wreck traffic to a website. I'm talking gone, right? It submits so many HTTP requests that the server that is serving the requests actually has to shut down or all of its resources are used up. So loading times are processed at a speed that is considered unusable. But hold on. Isn't that illegal? You bet your ass it's illegal. In fact, under current policy of most internet service providers, yes, it's illegal. It's also illegal in accordance with the Internet Architecture Board's Internet Proper Use Policy. I know you're thinking, I've never heard of those guys. Yeah, I know, I haven't either, so don't feel bad. They even break the rules of that one, that acceptable use policy that you have to sign in high school to use the internet. It probably breaks that because that was strict. Let's throw down another one. It actually violates the 1984 legislation, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, the CFAA. The CFAA classifies attacks and protected computers, and a DDoS attack unquestionably falls under this. The CFAA prohibits transmitting information, code, or a command to a computer that would do any of the following. That would include any impairment to the integrity or the availability of data, program, systems, or information. So yeah, it is illegal. DDoSing compromises the integrity of computers. Recently, Anonymous submitted a petition to make DDoS attacks a legitimate form of digital protest. The argument being that it's no different from something like the Occupy movement, where people sit in front of a building. The only difference is you're at home, in the comfort of your chair, probably without any friggin' presentable clothes on, hitting a button, occupying a website. Fundamentally, there seems to be no difference, and that is why the argument is so strong. Now, the petition has since disappeared, and I have no idea where it went, and I am just up in arms. Up in arms about how, it's gone and I can't find it. But I do know that there are a few places that talked about it, so I think I got up to 800 signatures. That's the last known number that I was able to find. But, yeah. Now, you can't talk about Anonymous as hacktivists and DDoS attacks and all that stuff without talking about hacktivism as a whole.
Whatever.
Hacktivism is a current moral issue, and it's widely being discussed from a whirlwind of legal perspective. From one perspective, hacking can be justified through white hat hackers. Those are people that aren't malicious users. They're actually very benign, and they seek to hack by virtue of increasing humanity's stock of knowledge, so that when there are security flaws, we can know about them immediately, and we can just make the internet a more secure place overall for it. Out in left field, there are people that argue that barriers to information are illegitimate, and they believe that everything on the internet should be free and, known, right? But it's incompatible with the right to information privacy. If we want to keep records online and we don't want people to figure that out or find those out, then we are morally wrong for doing so, according to that argument. Information privacy is gone, according to that argument. There's also the argument that there is a lot of collateral damage that occurs with hacktivism, and that third parties are harmed as a result of hacktivism, and the people that are responsible for such harm don't come forth and reveal themselves because of anonymity. And of course, since we're always dealing with moral issues, it's important to distinguish justified from unjustified forms of protest. Since we can totally classify DDoS as a civil disobedience, the issue actually becomes, should unjustified civil disobedience be punished? And we don't know. That's something that's completely being argued. So, all in all, Anonymous is an incredibly interesting entity found on the internet. They are a collection of individuals that are connected by a collective consciousness or a hive mind, and through that anonymous bond, they're able to achieve something that is completely insane from the perspective of just one person. Anonymous is everyone. Anonymous is no one. Anonymous has also worn many masks. You see Anonymous the hacker, Anonymous the rogue, Anonymous the vigilante, Anonymous the social justice hero. Anonymous seems to have put on a Robin Hood complex, and that's not a terrible thing. In fact, pushing for human rights in an age where digital and physical sort of clash and the internet becomes increasingly more a part of our daily lives is important. It's important to think about these issues. Anonymous has a lot of operations, and I'm sure that you'll be hearing from them in the future. But in case you want to get the drop, go ahead and visit one of the few websites I've listed here. That's it for me, guys. I left a pot of coffee on, and it's been burning for about 2 days now, so I'm gonna go get that. Take it easy.
So later, I'm at the pool hall, and this girl comes up, and she's all like, and I'm like, yeah, whatever.